In this video, we'll look at how to add cards to a price list. Cards are considered a custom product, but due to the fact that there are specific questions that you'll need to ask your clients in order to fulfill a card order, you'll create cards as a pro custom product and then add them to your price list. Examples of these questions are what size card, how many cards would they like to order, the image or images to be used on the cards, and any custom text if necessary to be added to the card. One of the features of Pro Custom Products is the Form Builder. Using the Form Builder, we can create a list of specific questions that are required to be answered when placing an order through one of your galleries. So let's go ahead and take a look at how cards can be ordered from a gallery. Here your client will see the information about the card itself. On the left-hand side, there's an image that shows you what the card looks like with some descriptive text. Then on the right-hand side of the screen is all the information that they'll need to fill out in order to order the card. So we'll start by clicking here to select the image for the card. That takes us back into the gallery to select the image for the card. We'll select this one, click Done. Now you'll notice that the bar itself says one of one image is selected, and that's because we set this up so you could only order or select one image for the card. Now we'll go ahead and add the custom greeting. You'll notice after we added the custom greeting that the characters remaining went down in value because we set this up so it only allowed a certain number of characters for the greeting. Next thing we need to do is select the quantity of cards. So there are 24 cards for $24. That's our minimum. I'm going to go ahead and select 72 cards, which will add $14 to the total amount. Then the last question to be answered is, would you like a proof emailed? If I check yes, then it opens up another dialog allowing me to put my email address in. Then the last thing to do is add to cart. So you can see just how easy it is for your clients to be able to order custom greeting cards from you. So now I'll show you how I use the Form Builder within Pro Custom Products to build out the form that was used to create that card order. So we'll start off at the Price List Manager and click on Create New and go down to Pro Custom Products. From here we need to fill out the product information. So the product name is 5x7 press printed cards. The base price is going to be $24. I'm going to hide the quantity option because I'm going to sell my cards at different prices based upon the quantities that they order. Then I need to select a category to put this into. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into the cards category. And then I need to put in a description for this particular card. So once that's done, I need to go ahead and add a marketing image for this particular card. Once you've selected the image to use for your marketing image, go ahead and add a caption for it that describes what the card is. Go ahead and click Save. Now we've finished filling out the product information. The next step is to actually build the form. So the Form Builder allows you to create a sequence of questions that your client has to respond to in order to fulfill the order. So let's go ahead and add the first question. So the first thing that I want to ask in my form is which image do they want to use for the card? So I'm going to go ahead and type that in here. And I'm also going to make this a required response. So the response or the answer I need from them is I need for them to select an image. So that brings up this button that will prompt them to select the image once they click on that button. For this card, there's only one image that needs to be selected. So I'm going to add an attribute to the button that will allow them only to select one image. I'll do that by clicking on Edit. And we're going to set the minimum number of images to 1 and the maximum number to 1. Then click Save. So what that will do is mistake-proof the selection of an image or images for a particular card. So let's go ahead and move to the next question. Our next question is how many cards do they want to order? So we'll fill that in the question area. And we also need to make this a required field because I need to know how many cards they're ordering. So now that we've asked that question, we need to add the responses. So the responses for this, there's going to be 3. 24 cards, 48 cards, or 72 cards. And I'm going to add that in a list of radio buttons that they can select. So on the right-hand side, you can see here there's already a radio button ready to be used. I just need to add text next to it how I want it to appear. So I'm going to type in here 24 cards. So I can see on the right-hand side what the result's going to look like. And I don't need to add anything else to that 24 cards, so I'm going to add another radio button. And here we're going to add a value of 48 cards, but the 48 cards cost a little bit more than the default 24. So I need to add some more information to this. I'm going to click the Edit button, and we're going to add an additional price of $7 for the 48 cards. Click Save. You can see that adds plus $7 to that. So let's go ahead and add one more radio button. And here we'll put in 72 cards. And again, I need to be able to add an additional price for that. So I'm going to add that here in the value of $14. Click Save. So now for this question of how many cards would you like to order, the options are 24, 48, and 72. So now we need to move on to the next question. So for the next question, I'd like to know what do they want to add for the custom greeting for the card itself. So again, we'll add that question here. So now I've added that. I need to set that as a required field. So the response for that question is going to be in the form of a multi-line text box. And I'm going to go ahead and edit some information for that text box by putting in a minimum and maximum number of characters. So we'll just say 130 to 240. Click Save. So now there is a character limitation for that particular box. So now let's go ahead and move to the next question. The last question I want to ask is, would they like to have a proof emailed to them before they actually place the order? So I'm going to go ahead and type that question in here. This particular question is not required to place the order, so I'm not going to check the required box. So I'm going to go ahead and select a checkbox for this, and I need to put a name or a title next to that checkbox, and it's going to be just a simple yes. I'm going to put it in all caps. Now I need to add an attribute to this checkbox so they know when they check yes, there's something else they're supposed to do. So I'm going to go ahead and click Edit, and in this I'm going to add another text line, and the title of this text line is going to be Email Address. We'll go ahead and hit Save. So now when the client comes in and checks this, it's going to prompt them to put in their email address. So now we've got everything built for this particular form. We'll just hit Save. So those are all the steps that were used in creating the form that was used in the price list that we looked at earlier when we ordered a card from that one particular gallery. Now let's go ahead and add the card to a price list. So what we've done to this point is we've created a card as a custom product. So the next step is we need to add that card to one of our price lists so that it's available for our clients to order. So go back to the price list manager and let's select a price list to add it to. Once you've opened the price list, go ahead and scroll down to where you find the cards section. Here we can go ahead and click on Add Cards. That'll open up a listing of all of the different photographic cards that we've created as custom products. Go ahead and select the one that you want to add. Save changes. Now that card is available on that price list. Now let me show you how you can add multiple greeting cards to a price list. What we looked at before was just one card being added. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a category of 5x7 greeting cards, but there's going to be 4 different styles that the clients can pick from. So as you can see, I've added the product name, I've set the price, the quantity option's been set, the category is cards, I've added a brief description, and then down below the images. The images are the marketing images that you can use to describe your cards visually to your clients. I've already set up my 4 different cards with marketing images, so let's go ahead and take a look at how I did that. Click on the first one. This is card A. You can see that card A is actually on the marketing image. Then the caption below that's going to read Card A, horizontal single image greeting card. You want to be very descriptive so your clients know exactly what they're ordering. So let's take a look at the second one. This one is card B. It's a horizontal 2-image greeting card. So they know that they need to select 2 images for this particular card. Then the third one, which is card C, this one's a vertical single image greeting card. So you can see that it's really important for you to select the right marketing images so that you can visually display the cards for your customers. So now we'll go ahead and move into the form builder. So I'm going to go ahead and click on to add a question. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to list the 4 different cards that they can select from and give the clients a way that they can pick which card they want to order. So I'm going to go ahead for my question and type in, which card style would you like? And this is a required field. So I'm going to leave that list of the 4 different cards in the form of radio buttons. So the first radio button I'm going to set up as card A. And I need to add an attribute to it. So when they select card A, they can only select one image for that card because that card only has one image. So we'll go ahead and click Edit. And I'm going to select Images. And I'm going to set my minimum to 1 and maximum to 1. So that will require them to select one and only one image. So let's go ahead and add card B. So we'll type that in here. And we'll go ahead and add our attribute. Now card B, it allows for 2 images. So I'm going to set my minimum to 2 and my max to 2. So when they select card B, that button comes up and it only allows them to select 2 images. So now let me go ahead and add card C and card D. Okay, so now that we've got all 4 cards set up, and each one when they select it, they're going to be prompted to select images, but only allowed to select the appropriate number of images for each one of the cards, we'll go ahead and move on to the next question. Our next question is, how many cards would they like to purchase? So we'll go ahead and type that in. That again is a required field. And we'll set this up as a series of radio buttons with the different quantities of cards that they can purchase. So for the very first one, we're going to put in 24 cards. We'll go ahead and add another radio button. For this one, this quantity will be 48 cards. And for 48 cards, it costs a little bit more, obviously, than 24. So we're going to add an attribute to that. So we'll add $7 to the price. Click Save. Now you can see you have an additional $7 for 48 cards. We'll go ahead and add one more. So here we'll put in 72. And again, those cost slightly more, so we'll add an attribute of $14. So now that we have all those set up, we need to move on to the next question. We need to give them the ability to add their custom greeting, so I'll go ahead and type that question in here. And I'm not going to make this a required field because they may want to just handwrite their greeting instead of having something pre-printed. But in any case, if they choose to do that, I need to give them a multi-line text box to enter that information. And I'm going to add an attribute to it to only allow a certain number of characters. So we'll leave the minimum, let's say at 10, and we'll set the maximum at 300. We'll click Save and move to the next question. Okay, so for that last question, would you like to see a proof? Again, this is not a required field, but we're going to set this up as a checkbox. So next to the checkbox, I want to add the text, yes. When they make that selection, they need to be prompted to enter their email address. So the way that I'm going to do that is we'll add an attribute for text as prompt text, and I'm going to put in email address. We'll click Save. Now when they check that box, they'll be prompted to enter their email address. So that completes everything that was needed to set up the 5x7 holiday gift cards. So now let's take a look at the client side. So I'll go ahead and click on the card category. Here you can see we've got our 5x7 holiday gift cards. I'll go ahead and click on Order. So in looking at this, we see that Card A is displayed first. The description underneath it says Card A, horizontal single image greeting card. We'll go ahead and click on Card B. It shows us that Card B is a horizontal 2-image greeting card. So I'm going to go ahead and select to order Card B. So I'll check that up here in this radio button. And now I have to select my images for this particular card. I'm going to go ahead and we'll select this image and this image here. We'll click Done. You can see it shows me that I've selected 2 of 2 images. Let's go ahead and order 72 cards. Takes the price up to $38. We'll add the custom greeting. Once we've done that, you notice that the character limitation goes down in value. The last thing I want to do is I want to check yes for my email address. Once I've filled in the email address for the return proof, I'll go ahead and click Add to Cart. Hopefully now that you know how to use the form builder to create an order form for something like cards, you'll be able to use this more frequently in your price lists. If you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our live support team. And as always, thank you for watching.